If you're sitting on over 1 million credit card points, in this video, I'm gonna show you 3 different ways to redeem them that will lead to insanely different outcomes. One of them gets you only $6,000 worth of value. The other will get you over $50,000 from the same exact points. So here's the real issue. Most people just think that the points are worth what the bank tells them. They give you a fixed value on your points and you assume that's all there is to it. But in reality, this is a whole system. There's a whole game here, and there are hundreds, if not thousands of people out there just like me who have beat the banks at their own game by leveraging smarter strategies to use these points, getting way more value than the bank wants you to know that you can get. Now, part of the reason they do this is because points are actually a liability to the bank, and they give you these rewards to incentivize you to come in as a customer. So their game is to get you to use their cards and to not redeem the rewards as effectively. So that makes my job here in this video to help you understand the larger game behind the scenes that the banks don't want you to know that you can play, and allow you to maximize these points so you can get extraordinary experiences in your life off of the same points that normally get you a few cool things on Amazon. Now, my name's Eli Pacenda, aka Eli the Travel Guy, and I've helped over 1,000 business owners turn their credit card points into their dream travel experiences through the strategies I'm about to share with you. And I've also personally done this for myself, saving over $500,000 on luxury travel in the last few years alone. Right now, I'm actually at the W Hotel in Hoboken, New York. I've got skyline views of downtown Manhattan. I got a suite upgrade for free. So as you can see, this isn't just information that I've studied. This is actually stuff I'm living in my own life as well. So whether you're sitting on a bunch of points and you've just never redeemed them because you knew there was more to the game and you didn't want to blow it, or you've been consistently redeeming your points wondering, I feel like these should be taking me further, I should be getting more bang for my buck, or maybe you have been trying to get better value from them, it's just felt too confusing, too complicated, and too time consuming, this video is for you. So cheers, let's get into it. So before I break down the 3 different methods, there's a couple things you need to understand about your points. Number 1 is that there is a significant hidden cost of not doing this correctly. If you're running a 7 to multi-7, maybe 8-figure business and you're spending tens of thousands or if not hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month, there's a good chance that this is costing you an extra $50,000 to $150,000 worth of travel every single year. Now, it doesn't stop there because points have a special category in the IRS code which classifies them as a rebate, which means points are tax-free. So as an example, I recently took a $50,000 trip to Europe. I was proposing to my then fiance. We flew Emirates first class on the way out with the in-flight shower, the in-flight bar, incredible caviar, Dom Perignon, the whole thing. We flew Virgin Retreat Suites on the way back. We got 4 nights in the Park Hyatt Paris over New Year's, worth $3,000 per night. The total cost of this trip to me would have been $50,000 had I paid for it. So let's say the business was doing well and I wanted to take this trip and pay for it. Well, as a business owner, I'm going to take money out of my company, which is now after-tax money. So the $50,000 trip isn't just $50,000, it's actually $50,000 plus, let's say 25% I'd pay in taxes in order to get that money out of the company, which is $12,500. So in total, this trip would actually cost me as the business owner $62,500. Now, this is where it gets interesting because not only are you saving on that $12,500 in taxes, you're also getting the trip completely free on the points. So that means that's an extra $62,500 that you could reinvest back into the business. So what I've done in scenarios like this is I've used that to make another hire to free up more of my time so I can pursue this mission of creating more freedom in my life. That means I get to hire a better executive assistant. That means I get to hire more people on my marketing team to continue to grow the brand, and the flywheel continues. But the important part to realize is when you stack this up year over year, this isn't just money that you're leaving on the table. It's countless missed memories. You have people in your life where they're in a certain season. Maybe you have parents that are still alive and they're able to travel, or maybe you have kids that are in their early teens that aren't in college yet, or maybe you just have a spouse and you guys haven't had kids yet and you're in this window where you can travel. Whatever it is, there's a window of opportunity in your life that will close. There is a shelf life on the opportunity to create memories and experiences with people you love. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because what points allows you to do is to say yes to more experiences that you otherwise would just have a hard time justifying the cost of. Another example of this would be when I recently flew my parents out to Scotland to visit me and my fiance as we traveled the world last year. We had an incredible adventure, but had I not had the points and told them, hey, you're coming on this trip, I'm not giving you an option, they would have had a hard time actually making it happen. But I know that my parents are in their late 60s, they're getting into their 70s. The amount of memories that I'm gonna be able to create with them is shrinking. So you should think about the people in your life that you wanna create memories with now and not get caught in the postponement trap that plagues so many business owners thinking they'll do it later, because we never know when that window closes. So one of the resources you can grab from this video is going to be a calculator that will help show you the actual hidden cost to you, or you can reach out to someone on our team and get a custom audit plan where we're gonna walk through your actual numbers and show you what you're leaving on the table every single year. So this mindset shift of revealing the hidden costs that you weren't seeing before is exactly what's costing you the travel that you want and causing you to leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table. But it's actually a rather simple fix, which brings me to point 2, which is you need to see your points as an asset class. These are not Chuck E. Cheese tokens. These are not Monopoly money. In some sense, they are like tickets for fun because they unlock amazing experiences. But in another sense, you need to see this like an actual currency. So if you are an investor and you invest in different asset classes, you know that different asset classes serve different purposes. For example, if you're investing in bonds, well, that's probably not to get a high rate of return, it's probably to create stability. If you're investing in stocks, maybe that's about appreciation. If you're investing in Airbnbs, that's probably about cash flow on a monthly basis. Well, your points should be seen as part of your overall wealth portfolio, and you should be seeing these as opportunities to unlock amazing travel experiences. Now, I talk specifically about travel because this is the only way that your points can get you 2, 3, 4, 5, 10x the value compared to what the bank would normally give you. For example, I recently talked to a client who was traveling all over the US domestically for work, and he had a sales team that was going to various events. And he also took his family on one big international trip per year. And what he was doing is he had all these points accruing from his spend, and then he would redeem his points for his business travel and his team travel for his company, and then he was paying cash for his vacations. Now, because of the tax implications, he's actually doing this backwards. So when it comes to your travel, you want to prioritize your personal travel first, and specifically your personal international travel. This is where you're getting the tax-free benefits, but you're also going to be getting the maximum value from your points because when you fly overseas in business class, those are going to be the easiest opportunities to get that 3 to 5x point value compared to flying domestic. Now, the 2 other components that are going to help you maximize your points like a true asset class is going to be how you earn the points, meaning what cards you have on what expenses, and then how effectively you redeem them. You really want to have both because think about it. If you're spending $50,000 per month inside of your business and you can double the amount of points you get just from changing 1 or 2 credit cards, that makes obvious sense, right? And if you can take the existing resources you have and get 2, 3, 5x value from them, that also makes sense. But if you do both, that's like the grand slam of this. Now, if I were to give you an example, and I said you're currently sitting on an asset like your house, and with a couple small strategies, you could get 2, 3, 5x the value, you would think it's a no-brainer. Yet when it comes to points, most business owners say it's too complicated, too time-consuming, and they just can't figure it out, which is gonna bring me to point 3, how do you actually do this? So let's start with the first way to redeem your points. Now, this is going to be the biggest mistake you can make. It's the laziest way, it's also the easiest way, and it's the one that the banks make the most tempting for you as a consumer. This is going to be to use your points for gift cards or Amazon. Now, depending on the kind of points you have, but let's say you have Amex points, usually your points are going to be worth 0.6 of 1 cent. That means if you have 1 million credit card points, you're only getting $6,000 of value from them. And plus, when you think about it, the actual return on memories, the return on joy, or the return on fulfillment inside of your life is probably kind of meaningless. If you're getting 5 employees a $1,200 gift card at the end of the year, you're not really gonna feel the gratification of what these points earned you. If you're getting a few nice things on Amazon, a fancy vacuum and maybe a TV, sure, your house is a little nicer and maybe you have slightly cleaner floors, but you're not creating peak memories inside of your life. Now, business owners who recognize this often go to step number 2, which is to redeem your points through the credit card travel portal. So this is the most common way that I see business owners completely wasting their points. It's going directly to a site like Amex Travel, looking up your flights, looking up your hotels, and just redeeming through there. Now, when you do this, you fall right into the trap that the bank set up for you, which is to get only 1 cent for each point from your points. Now, this means that each point is worth 1 penny. And what happens is if the price of a flight increases, because the points cost is tied directly to the cost of the ticket or the reservation, the number of points will increase with it. So if a flight goes from $5,000 to $7,000, the cost to you just went from 500,000 points to 700,000 points. And what it leads to is a feeling of thinking that you've earned all these points, but when you go to redeem them, they just don't get you the travel that you want. Or it feels like it costs an arm and a leg anytime you want to book a nice hotel or do an international business class flight. So the result of this for most people is that they either completely compromise on their travel, meaning they scale back the trip, they go to Florida instead of Europe, they fly in economy instead of business, or maybe they just take less trips overall. Number 2 is they just completely blow through their points and they only get 1 trip when they really want to get 3, 4, 5 trips per year. Or number 3 is they end up just using partial points or they hoard them entirely and don't use them at all and way overspend in cash compared to what they needed to do. And keep in mind, this isn't just money that should be in your travel budget. This is money that can be reinvested back into other assets like the stock market or back into your business to grow and create more freedom. So that brings me to the third way, which is the absolute best way. This is how you actually take the same million points and turn them into these $50,000 trips. And I want to tell you an example of one of our clients, Matt, who lives out in Scottsdale, Arizona, and wanted to take his family to Italy for the summer. Now, when Matt came to me, he had around 1 million points and he wanted to take his family overseas. Now, he was doing what you would probably do. He was looking at flights on Google Flights. He was looking at Expedia. He was going to Amex Travel. And no matter which way he sliced and diced it, it was gonna be a really expensive trip. It was gonna be over $50,000. Now, when he went to Amex Travel, that was gonna be over 5 million points. And remember, he only had 1 million points. So he's like, Eli, can you help me out? What can you do? I said, Matt, if you give me a little bit of flexibility, I can help you turn these points into an incredible trip, but it's gonna require that you don't fly direct out of Phoenix and that you're also just a little bit flexible on the exact day that you wanna go. So at first, Matt had a lot of resistance to this. He was really busy and he had a family and kids and sports schedules and summer camp and all that stuff, and he really didn't think he could be that flexible. But when I showed him the numbers, he said, okay, I could be flexible for that. So what ended up happening is we found him a killer business class flight on Air France. Now, this was actually flying out of Chicago. So he ended up doing a 2-day stopover in Paris with his family. They created incredible memories there. And then they flew back from Italy back to Arizona in business class as well, getting some amazing hotel stays along the way. Now, the most important part that Matt had to understand was that we weren't gonna book through Amex Travel. We were gonna book through airline transfer partners. Now, each bank has a variety of different transfer partners. Not all banks partner with the same airlines. So what we did was we found the right partner for that specific trip because there's not a one size fits all here. And we found a killer deal that got insane value for him and still lined up with his overall schedule. So what Matt ended up doing is he took a short hop from Phoenix to Chicago. They ended up flying business class over to Paris. They did 2 days there. They had an incredible experience. They had lunch in front of the Eiffel Tower. When I asked him about this, I said, hey, any chance you can stop in Paris on the way over? And he was like, twist my arm, like we could stop in Paris. So after Paris, they went to Italy. And then on the way back, they got to fly British Airways business class back to Arizona. Now, the point here is that flexibility was the sweet spot because when you're transferring points from the bank to the airlines, it's not the same class of inventory. This is called airline award space, which is booked on airline mileage programs versus what you're seeing on the bank site, which is actually any fare that can be booked with cash. So there's a big difference between these two categories of tickets, and there's less availability on the mileage tickets, which is why you need to be a little bit flexible. Now, keep in mind, I didn't tell Matt you have to go in January when you want to fly in July. I didn't tell him that he has to take 3 stops. I asked him to take 1 extra stop and still get to go to another amazing place in Europe. But this little bit of flexibility of flying out of another major hub and having 1 to up to 3 days of flexibility on the departure and the return is what's going to open up the options so that when you search for these transfer partner flights, you can actually find them. So in total, Matt ended up using around 600,000 points and saved $53,000. Now for him, I asked him what he was gonna do with that money. They were remodeling their backyard and their deck that year, so it went right back into their home, which is a beautiful way to spend the savings. Now, there are tons of different tools online that can help you figure out where to transfer your points, how to find the best deal, but there's not really a one size fits all. And the honest truth that even the most advanced people realize is that when it comes to finding these deals, you have to track them continuously. So let's say, for example, you looked for a business class deal to Europe on a Wednesday and it wasn't available. And then on Friday, the airline released a bunch of new award seats and you didn't check back until Sunday because that was when you were free next. Well, that deal probably came and went between Friday to Saturday. Someone like us who's tracking this stuff all the time for our clients would have booked it. And you would come back on Sunday thinking there's no deals. So you have to be on top of this and you have to be searching from different airport hubs to airport hub. Now, this is why a lot of really busy 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs hire our team because we handle the entire thing for them, making it super seamless and easy to do. So now that you've got the essence of how to leverage these points, I want to summarize the 3 main points from this video so you can actually start to level up the way that you travel and what you actually think is possible from your points so you stop making the mistakes that so many business owners make that cost them tens of thousands of dollars and cost them amazing memories with the people they love. So the first thing is going to be to remember there is a hidden cost to not using your points effectively, to redeem your points for business travel when you should be using it for personal travel instead and not taking advantage of the tax savings that you'll get. The second thing is to recognize that your points are an asset class. They should be treated like an asset that you're trying to multiply the value of. Just like if you own a home and you want to get a higher return from the investment you made, you should be thinking of your points just like that. And number 3 is instead of redeeming your points through Amazon or going directly to the bank site where you only get 0.6 of a cent or 1 cent per point, we want to be transferring them to the airline or hotel loyalty programs where we're going to be getting on average average 4 to 5x that value. That means 1 million credit card points would equal $6,000 on Amazon, $10,000 through the bank site, but up to $50,000 or more by transferring your points strategically. So if you're a business owner and you're sitting on hundreds of thousands or millions of credit card points and you want to take a big dream trip in the next 6 to 12 months and you want to understand what's possible for you, how much these points are actually worth, and how to do this in a way that's actually simple and time effective so you can pour most of your time back into your business or time with your family, then you can go ahead and apply to speak with our team down below. This is going to be a complimentary audit and strategy plan that's going to walk you through exactly what's possible for you, show you real numbers, we'll pull up our calculator, and we'll show you examples of the experiences you can get and give you a couple tactics that you can walk away with and do on your own. If you like what you hear, you'll also be able to consider working with our team inside of our concierge services if you fit. And if you like what you heard today and you just want to learn more about how to maximize your points, check out some of the other videos I have on my channel where I'll walk through some of the amazing flights that I've done, breaking down how I booked it and showing you the experience, some incredible hotel stays, for example, how I get suite upgrades consistently, or just other amazing adventures around the world. So go ahead and check those out, and I'll see you in the next video.